Well, hey there. In this episode, we're going to talk about what to look for in a new or used guitar if you're out in the market. Labor Day is coming up, or any holiday, or whenever it is. Good deals are out there. Let's check it out. Well, hey there, guys. Thank you once again for joining us here at Rock Hard Riffs. This is the guitar channel for the self-taught. What does self-taught mean? It just means we don't go over theory or in-depth into that kind of thing as far as music goes. Think of punk rock, 3 chords, right? We go a little further than that. Well, maybe a lot further than that, but you know what I mean. So anyway, today we're going to take a look at really what I look for when I go to buy a guitar. And if you're interested in that, if you're new to this kind of thing, we have several new subscribers that are beginner guitar players. Thank you guys for subscribing, by the way. Thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. We truly appreciate that. So here are some of the things, again, that I look for when I go to buy a guitar. Okay, so let's start with this Telecaster. Now we're going to go over several things and all over these other guitars too, guitars as far as the setup of everything, what I prefer, but right now we're going to talk about things that you should look for structurally on your guitar. Now, number one is when you pick it up, just ring it out acoustically. Does it resonate? Do you feel the body vibrate? Like this thing, I can feel it vibrate. Boy, that head's still vibrating from head to toe, from top to bottom. This is still vibrating. I still feel it. So that tells you that we've got a really good resonant guitar here. Okay. Now, next thing is we're going to look down the neck and see what shape the neck is and things like that. Now, one thing before we do that, I want to mention, even if we find certain things that may not be right, so-called, with the guitar, like a loose neck or a bowed neck or something like that, those are things that can be adjusted. So keep in mind things that can be adjusted versus possible really bad damage, say like cracks around the neck pocket. Not that that can't be fixed either, but you know what I mean. So again, let's start by taking a look at the neck and how to check the neck. Now, generally, what I do, first off, by checking the neck, what we're looking for is to see if there's a bow like this. We want a very, very slight concave bow to the guitar, concave to the fretboard. And the way to check that is when your strings are tight or taut, they're in a straight line, right, between the nut and the bridge, and the 12th fret being the very middle between both. You want to use the string as a guide to see if the neck has a little bit of a bow or what kind of bow it has in it. And again, you want a very, very slight concave bow in that neck. Now again, that's something, if it isn't there, if you're looking at this guitar, say at a guitar shop or whatever, you can ask them, adjust the neck. You know, would you take a look at it and see if this needs adjustment, etc. They want to sell you that guitar. So that's one thing to look for. Now I'm going to show it to you how it should look. Okay, so you just want to look down along the string and look just below it. You see the surface of the fretboard. And if you're able to see it, you'll see there's just the tiniest of bows in this neck. This thing is perfectly set up. It's awesome. So okay, now let's take a little bit of a closer look at the guitar, like say the neck pocket. Cracks in the paint or possibly the wood. All that means is the wood could have been stressed in some way or other. Okay, that's another thing. Now, okay, another thing to just basic things to check for is make sure that all the hardware is secure, it's good and tight and screwed in really well. Another thing is check the volume and tone pots, rock them back and forth. Do they feel nice and smooth? The potentiometers, these feel awesome. Again, rock the pickup selector back and forth. This feels great again, and of course you want it plugged in and do the same thing. Check those with it as well. Another thing, this is again one of those things that you want to check for, and that's to run your fingers up and down along the top of the fretboard like this to feel if there are any frets that are popping out. Now again, that's something that can be easily fixed, but compared to another guitar, you know, good versus bad, you know, pros and cons versus another guitar, etc., what you're looking for. So, you know, it's something that can be remedied, just like a bow in the neck, that can be remedied. Most anything, unless the guitar is absolutely destroyed, can be remedied, but is that what you want to do when you're shopping for a guitar? Now, of course, that'd be a used guitar, but do give the same once over on a new guitar just as well. Okay, and lastly, we're going to go over the things that I'll talk about all of these guitars. First one is weight and balance. So this Telecaster is made of alder and maple, okay, and it's got a good weight to it. It feels good and it's pretty well balanced. It's not neck heavy, and that's important. You want to look for that too. That on any guitar you're buying. Now, another thing that I find really important: comfort and configuration. What configuration do you prefer? And we're going to look at several different ones through these different guitars. The Telecaster 1 being the pickup selector switch being right there, and the tone knobs being where they are. These are intentionally there to do swells and stuff with this. This guitar was invented to simulate a slide guitar. Okay, so that's why the volume knob is where it is, and why it has these why it's burled like it is. Okay, I'm not crazy about this configuration, but it's not bad. Comfort-wise, it's great. They have this contour cut back here. This is called a belly cut. To me, it's more of a rib cut. And boy, that's really important. And it makes such a difference, especially in Telecaster. They have that really hard ridge. And we'll talk more about that in the other guitars too. So, weight, balance, comfort, configuration. Again, let's say you have a guitar like this, ES335. You want to look for cracks around the F-holes and things like that. This is a semi-hollow body. You want to look for cracks around your input jack, because these are kind of, well, these can get you in trouble, because if you have a straight cord, that thing sticks out, and you step on that cord, and it's going to break. It will break. So that's why you always tuck your cord in behind the strap for one, or use a cord that has a 90-degree angle to go into this style of body, right? Now again, let's talk about configuration on the 335. And again, this is just my opinion. I like this configuration. This is good. This is good for me. The pick guard kind of protects the pickup selector so I don't hit it like I do on my Tele and my Strat constantly. It's also kind of keeps you off of the tone and volume knobs. Keeps me off, let's put it that way. So I'm good with this configuration. I like it. It's not my favorite, but I really like it. Then comes the Stratocaster. My least favorite as far as the configuration goes, but my most favorite as far as body contours go. Again, we have the rib or belly cut here. We have nice rounded edges up here. That makes a difference, because these things I wear my guitar high, and that thing pokes me right in the ribs. So it's important to me for this to be contoured. Another thing, the sloped back here, the top back, this being sloped, not a hard edge. Your arm rests there mine does, very comfortably. I really love the body of the Strat. A couple other things I really don't like, and that is the pickup selector switch, the volume and tone knobs where they are, and the middle pickup. I like to finger pick and stuff, and boy, that thing just gets in the way terribly. That middle pickup is just in the way. No matter what I do, I hit the pickup selector switch. As hard as I try to adjust my playing, I still hit the thing. Just one of those things I have to adjust, because I love the tone of the Stratocaster so much. It just has so many different tones and such killer tones. I absolutely love the tone of this guitar. That's why I have it. Otherwise, this stuff would prevent me from owning this guitar. The Les Paul. The Les Paul. My favorite of all configurations. The tone and volume knobs are well out of the way, but they're still very reachable if necessary, but you're up here. They're not right along the bridge. The pickup selector switch is way up here out of the way, but still easy to access. Very easy to access. I love this configuration. It's my absolute favorite. The only one thing I really don't care for about Les Pauls, or this type, is that bridge is way off the body. It's way up there. So if you're trying to rest and chugga, like you're trying to rest your palm a little bit there, it could be a little kind of a bummer. You kind of need to come up on the bridge. Not that that's a good or a bad thing. It's just one of those things. But the Les Paul is my favorite configuration. Last but definitely not least is my ESP E2 Mystique. This thing is has the Floyd Rose. It has this volume knob again right here next to the bridge. Now what I did is with this and my Strat both, I had like a gasket put underneath the knob, so no matter how hard I hit it, it won't turn. I have to grab the thing and turn it. Okay, so that's what keeps this from turning. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I'm constantly hitting this volume knob just like I am on the Strat. So I just, make an adjustment, put a little gasket in there, and it won't turn unless I really physically turn it. The pickup selector is fairly much out of the way. Not bad. The contours of this guitar are pretty good. Again, we have the rib or belly cut. You can see we kind of have a theme going here. Whereas the 335 is, and the Les Paul are the only guitars that I have that do not have this, and I wish they did. Another thing about the ESP here is this hard ridge right there. This thing digs into my arm a little bit because you're resting it here and it digs a little bit. It's not bad. You lift off a little bit and kind of strum or whatever, but it's one of those things I wish it was tapered off. Those are the guitars, the electric guitars I have. That's what I look for when I go to buy a guitar. And of course, we haven't even talked about sound and all that yet. But that's a different story. But we're talking about physical aspects of the guitar, what I look for. So hopefully that's been a help to you if you're out looking for a new guitar. If you have anything, any other ideas you'd like to suggest that I have maybe missed, please leave it in the comments. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments. We truly appreciate that. And if you've been following our channel and haven't yet subscribed, please do. We truly appreciate your subscription. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us here at Rock Hard Riffs. And we will see you next video.